We are talking about Patrick Stewart's talk about tension between Jean-Luc and Beverly Crusher in Star Trek Picard Season 3. And I'm going to say sexual tension.
Yeah, the old guy is able to pull it off. There is some sexual tension, some wanting, I guess.
Beverly.
What I mean,
oh, Beverly.
Well, we come into the show and they haven't really talked about their relationship, have they? We don't know the history of their relationship. They don't know it.
No.
We have a great video out there that talks about their son.
We do.
That's right. Yeah. You know, there's an interesting little thing about leaking and about I was going to bring this up today, but under a different topic, and we ended up not talking about it because I want to wait now. When channels like us, and there's other channels out there, YouTubers, you know, social media people, people who tweet, they put out like leaked information,
right?
And it goes to Doomcock, really anybody. Leaked information generally comes from a guy or a gal, usually a guy, working in like the admin office or legal, not really associated with the show that's going on, but part of the studio on the outs, kind of not really attached to what's happening. And they'll get a little piece of information about what's happening and they'll share it to one of us.
Right.
You know, and we'll get it. We'll get this little piece of information that they happen to catch.
Right.
But they're not in the day-to-day knowledge of it. And then we'll share it with you, or somebody will share it with you. Right. And then that may or may not be, it's a rumor, but it's something that came across the desk. So it's possible disinformation too, but it's possible. And that's how most of these leaks come about for all YouTubers. Now, the difference with us and maybe some other YouTubers is that we have a lot of relationships with creatives.
Right.
We have relationships with showrunners and creatives and executives and producers and stuff like that. So we're not leakers,
right,
so to speak. We aren't going to, if we do get some information, we're probably not going to share it because we don't want it to hurt the people that we are supporting and that we are looking for the show by giving you too much information that will make the show not fun.
Right.
So note, we do know a lot about Beverly Crusher and Jean-Luc Picard.
Right.
That we just can't tell you.
Yeah.
That somebody else might tell you.
Right.
That we can't. But what we can say is that you really do learn what happened to them since Nemesis. We really get a very firm knowledge of their relationship post that movie.
Right.
And it is pretty fascinating and a little bit shocking, I think, in some ways, and a little bit like, oh, okay. Can we say anything more about that?
Yeah, I'm doing that exact same thing. Like, if you go and look at that video on our main channel, you know, we definitely followed the breadcrumbs there. The thing is, even if we know something, usually when we make a video where we go, we can't make the video about what we know. We have to make a video about what's out there. And we can use what we know to sort of confirm that the sources are correct when someone like talks about this or that on a website, and you know, or you know, when we find the pieces between, like, you know, Ed's agent and stuff like that. When you can find the pieces, when you can put the pieces together with public information, then we can make a video about an upcoming project. But we can't just talk about what we've been told by the people that actually are in charge of the project.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll never get told anything again.
Right.
And
we would lose their confidence.
And we want to be able to share things with you when we can. I mean, we knew an incredible amount of information about the Orville, which we were able to share a lot of with you guys, but there are certain things you got to hold back. So
in regards to Picard and Crusher's relationship, I can tell you that all the questions you had from TNG, in my opinion, is answered.
Yes.
100% is answered. There is a tension there. I don't know if it's I don't know if we can classify it as like a romantic tension, but there is a tension there, and there is a rich history in which we were not privy of in TNG.
Yes,
even though it was hinted at, and that's part of what makes the characters' interactions this last season so wonderful, because a lot of the stuff that you wanted to know, that you've been wondering about for 30 years, like those questions are answered.
Yeah.
And definitively, like not like winks and nods and not like maybes or not maybes, no, pretty definitive questions and answers to their relationship. And it's great because of that. And I think it makes the chemistry on screen even better, because they can finally stop sort of hem-hawing around and act accordingly, which is great.
And talk about closing the loop on Jean-Luc Picard's emotional growth. Like you see in Picard season 3, a man who's had a lifetime of choices and decisions that he kind of solidifies his final choice in Picard season 3 on which way to go. And you'll understand that better by looking back at like relationships he's had with other characters. The relationships he has with these characters going into this season shows you what is truly important to him. And I don't think I want to say any more than that.
Well, let's let Patrick Stewart do the talking for us, because this is what he says about it. Well, there are a lot of personal attention that has always been there. Jean-Luc always admired her, and she him in equal measure. But there have always been issues in the past where Picard thought maybe she wasn't behaving appropriately. And of course, there had been the makings of a romance which didn't seem that it was going to work out. But this season, we learned that life-changing things have actually happened for Beverly Crusher and Jean-Luc Picard. His fury about the way in which Beverly has lived with this unexpected event led to some of the most interesting scenes that I played. The scenes I have with Gates in season 3 are among my favorites because they are emotionally naked, both of them, and vulnerable. And don't think we've seen both of them at the same time at that stage. And don't worry, guys. Not actually Patrick Stewart naked. Emotionally naked.
Yeah, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see those wrinkles, man.
Yeah. No stress. We're not going to see them naked. Just it's not one of those kind of shows.
It's like oh goodness.
Hashtag green grannies.
Right. That really is shriveled. All right.
All right. He also goes on to talk about some relationship with Frakes too, and it's a very similar. A lot of questions about their relationship and their leadership styles are answered in this season. And it also, another reason why it makes for such a great chemistry between the two is because they can sort of work together, unadulterated by what's to come, but more so, let's wrap up what's already happened.
Yeah, and I think the relationship between Picard and Riker is probably the most interesting, which is what we expected anyways. I think it's the most interesting of the relationship duos that we see. You know, the way they interact and how the characters change based on what's happening and what has happened. I do think it's the most interesting exploration that they do in Picard season 3.
Yeah. And this is what Pat, I agree, by the way. That's the best part about at least the first half of the season for me was that. This is what Stewart has to say about it. It's an illustration of how strongly both of them feel and the intensity of how that relationship developed. There were some warm and lovely scenes between the two of them because they love one another and adore one another. But you see, when we learned that Picard was perhaps not right in his choices he was making, that was important to me. That made Picard more human and made him somebody who, in our surprise, could allow his feelings at times to overwhelm him in a dangerous and negative way, referring to his interactions with Riker.
Yeah, I think that's accurate, you know, and we're going to get a lot of good feelings and we're going to get some uncomfortable feelings. There's going to be a little bit of uncomfortableness. Very rarely in TNG were you uncomfortable with the relationship between the characters.
Right.
There were times when there was stress, but you're definitely testing, you know, listen, when you're 60 or 70 years old and your boss is 60 or 70 years old, things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to experience in Picard season 3.
Yeah. It's interesting too. Like, it is literally around the corner. Like, it's February 16th. We are talking like 45 days. It's coming up.
It's so coming up. Yeah.
It's so close. You guys, it's so close. And
we're going to have so much information, guys. We're going to have leading up videos. We're going to have every week, we're going to have a breakdown. It's going to be, you're not going to, it's the February through April is going to be just fantastic Star Trek time on our channel.
Yeah. We are going to be working literally overtime.
Yeah.
Just nonstop. Because we think that you're going to love it. And we think you're going to want more information. You're going to need it. And we're going to be there to supply it, man.
Absolutely.
So, that said, hit the subscribe button on the way to the comments section. Let us know what you guys think about this topic. And do you want more Picard Season 3? 45 days. 45 days. Let's go.